Beach FM, locals talking to locals.
And my great pleasure to welcome, this is the highlight of the week for many, Ralph McAlister. Welcome to Beach FM once again.
I don't know whether I'll be able to live that long for highlight of the week, week after week.
Whoa.
How am I going to cope? What's my reputation going to be like if
You're sitting a very high bar. What has been diverting you recently from these lockdown days?
Well, not diverting me, but I've gone back to Tolstoy. I think I might have mentioned to you, John. And I'm about 2/3 of the way through 1,600 pages, small type, of Anna Karenina. So that's great. But just as an interim, this charming woman who's sitting opposite me said, "Have you read this?" And I looked at it and I thought, oh, God, I don't want to read a book about bloody bounty and pirates and all that. And she said, no, look who wrote it. And it was John Boyne. If you don't know John Boyne, you will get to know him because he's a wonderful Irish writer. And he's been writing for about 15, 20 years. But just lately, he's been writing 2 extremely wonderful novels. And I can tell you that the titles, if I remember, but if I can't, doesn't matter. Anyway, John Boyne wrote this novel called The Mutiny on the Bounty about 15 years ago, I think. And lo and behold, Shelley arrives and says, would you be interested in this? I said, oh, God, no. And internally, and I thought, oh, no, well, wait a minute. So I lacking in grace, said, yes, thanks. And then halfway through Karenina, I thought, I'll have a look. I couldn't put it down.
Wow.
It's just a novel about the bounty and about the piracy and all the terrible things and wonderful things that happened. And it's told through the eyes of a small boy who gets sort of dragooned onto the boat at the last minute. And he's a pickpocket, he's a bit like Oliver Twist. Or what's the name of the one who's not good with Oliver. Anyway, so he gets onto the boat and he's trapped there for the next 2 years practically. And it's just everything through his eyes. It's very clever, but it's not only that. It's just, I don't know if you remember, you're probably too young, I know, but I went straight back to adventure stories of my childhood when I would sit wrapped in the Count of Monte Cristo or Zorro or comics like The Eagle, and I sat there over a night and a day because I finished in a day. I was just entranced. I just loved it. I felt I was 15 or 12 again, and there was nothing wrong with that. So when you eventually try to get out of this bubble or lockdown, you would be well advised to see if you can find a copy of it's just called The Mutiny on the Mutiny on the Bounty, and it's great. And so that's my book of the week.
Excellent. So this is interesting. The commentator is a young boy. Does he get into I imagine, the quite complicated relationship between Bligh and Christian?
Oh, absolutely, because you see, that's the rubbish tin to prove that we're alive. The beauty of that device, and of course it is a writer's device, is he is appointed immediately as the Captain Bligh's boy. He looks after his clothes, he looks after his food, and he's there. And of course he's a nosy little bugger, so he listens. And he gets all the information about, the background to all. Yeah. So I'm sorry, I couldn't remember the boy in the striped pajamas. That's the one you would remember.
Oh, that's right, of course, yes, the Prisoner of War.
Was his first big hit a long time ago. But then, of course, he's gone on, and I can't give you the latest books because this is an older book, and it's been well used, as you can realize. No, it's good because he then goes right through all the adventures, and then finally he does survive, the boy, and we look back on his life in the last chapters to what happened to him after that and what happened to the others. It's a real rollicking adventure story,
Excellent.
and I would recommend it to your listeners if they haven't switched off, because I'm boring them.
You are not boring them. The Mutiny on the Bounty. So that is something. I think I find that very diverting indeed. And it sort of closely follows history as far as we understand it, does it?
Oh yes. It's very well researched in terms of authenticity. How much is true about the actual characters? It's a novel. It's not depicting saying this is true, this is the great dialogue, this is what happened. But all the detail, all the tours, the journeys, and the maps. There are lots of lovely maps there if you like maps and all that. So it's all there. And you know how through the years Bligh has been victimized, or Christian has been victimized, or so it's good stuff. So
excellent.
And I've got another 3 new ones on the go, so I'll talk to you about those next week if you want.
I certainly do. Lovely to talk to you. Ralph, back to your meal, and it's been lovely talking to you here on Beach FM.
106.3 Beach FM.